Niger Delta Development Commission says that it will collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to repair failed sections of the Benin-Warri Road in Edo State and the Itu-Calabar Highway, the only road linking Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. Speaking after inspecting some bad portions of both roads, two officials of the agency assured the people of the areas of urgent attention. This is the Benin-Warri Road, and here gathered are top officials of the Niger Delta Development Commission. They have come to assess the failed portions of the road. Now that they know what needs to be done, the acting executive director of projects, Dr. Cairo Jubo, gives an assurance that the competent company will be engaged by the NDDC very soon to address the challenge.
What we intend to do is to give a competent company, a very big one that can immediately do it, the opportunity 2-3 days to come, do a survey, do a scope, and then they will return to us.
For projects that have been abandoned for the past 15 years, there are more assurances that they will be completed.
We are going to do our best. The major landmark regional huge projects of the NDDC, we are going to concentrate on it and try and complete them as soon as possible so that Nigerians will see what NDDC is all about. We want to showcase the NDDC as we want to make sure that the NDDC, from now going forward, nobody will look down the NDDC again.
Away from the Benin-Warri Road to the Itu-Calabar Highway in Cross River State. The expressway is the only road linking Calabar and the neighboring Akwa Ibom State.
We understand this road has been awarded, and we have decided to interface with the Federal Ministry of Works to see how we can alleviate the sufferings of our people, since this is our catchment area, because Christmas is fast approaching. We'll try as much as we can to make sure we do our best. Use this road.
This tour is expected to cut across the Niger Delta region and is aimed at completing abandoned projects. In related stories, the construction of the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway in Lagos State will be completed in 15 months. That's coming from the president of the Dangote Industries Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, as he inspected the road today in the company of the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Mr. Emefiele was excited at the number of local jobs being created as the construction proceeds.
One is not surprised about the contribution of construction and the building sector, cement sector in our GDP. You can imagine the jobs that are being created, right? 100% Nigerian jobs. So you cannot miss it. There's a direct relationship between the GDP, the fact that these construction companies are doing well, the fact that people can find jobs and then they can, you buy sand, you buy rebars, you buy cement. That is the way to grow an economy.
We started the road right from the gate of Apapa up to the toll gate. You can see that we are building 10 lanes, 5 lanes on each side with the drainage, which you will go over and see, what we are doing. Then plus, it's a concrete road. It's the first heavy concrete road that is up to about 35 kilometers, 34.9 kilometers. You can see drainage on both sides, double drainage, street lights, everything. And then we will also maintain it for 5 years. Obviously, there won't be any maintenance. This road will last minimum 100 years. You can see how they are processing the road. So, government said that okay, from the beginning of the project up to the finish, we should. They have given us 36 months, but I can assure you, we'll finish it in 15 months.
In Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano appears to be taking bold steps in the development of the state and has inaugurated a committee to envision the economic and social development of Anambra for the next 50 years. Governor Obiano challenged the committee to craft an all-inclusive development framework that will promote peace and prosperity for the people. The committee, which comprises eminent personalities, is headed by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Charles Soludo.
Governor Willie Obiano arrives for the commencement of the inauguration of the 50-year Development Committee with a mandate to identify and bring to life specific sectors in Anambra State. The inauguration is in line with Governor Obiano's administration's determination to seek workable solutions to project the state to limelight and improve the standard of living of the people.
To develop specific policies, programs and strategies aimed at attaining the vision over the 50-year period. To categorize these specific strategies into short-term, medium-term and long-term plans and framework.
He challenges the committee on the need to be visionary to exceed expectations.
We're not doing this thing on a party basis. You can see the conclusion of the people. We want something that will last the test of time. We want something that if we finish, and I know we're going to come up with a good job considering the caliber of people here and the caliber of the chairman, that it will go a long way in directing where Anambra in particular and the whole of Southeast will be headed 50 years from now.
Speaking on behalf of the group, the chairman, Professor Charles Soludo, pledges commitment towards building a long-term development plan.
If we have a process that is so involving that the people actually feel that it is their plan, you call it the Anambra plan. When they feel that it is our own, they will preserve it. And so when I show you, Excellency, we'll try to have as expansive and participatory process as possible to ensure that every Anambra person who has something he believes he wants to offer will have an opportunity to be able to do so.
According to the Anambra State Government, the Vision 2070 initiative is a long-standing plan expected to identify specific sectors of focus, create broad objectives for the sectors, develop programs and strategies, as well as categorize them in short, medium and long-term frames.
As the nation moves towards employment generation and improved agricultural development, the Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority believes that lots can be achieved if integrated farming, known as the Shongai method, is encouraged in the country. This was the focal point of a meeting between the agency and representatives of universities and polytechnics at the agency's Shongai farm in the outskirts of Benin City, the Edo State capital. Our correspondent, Sazeo Baze, reports.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that Nigeria's unemployment rate rose to 23.1% of the workforce by the end of September 2018. And that's up 18.1% in 2017. The Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority, also known as BUBDA, has for some time now explored the integrated farming technique. A tour of the Songhai farm operation at the Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority on the outskirts of Benin City by academics from Edo, Delta and Ekiti states is aimed at demonstrating how the integrated system works and the huge benefits it carries, especially in relation to job creation. The possibility of individuals adopting the technique is also addressed.
You don't have to be involved in all aspects at the same time, but with a cluster of youths farming different enterprises, one doing tomatoes, one doing cucumber, another doing poultry, a group doing poultry, they can all synergize.
The River Basin Development Authority gives reasons the academia ought to include integrated farming in their curriculum.
Our expectations from this interactive meeting are to foster a collaborative relationship with your respective institutions of higher learning, a relationship that will see a steady stream of trainees and intakes. We envisage that such trainees will be schooled in the philosophy of the organic integrated farming practice.
A question and answer session between the operatives of the Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority and the academics from the tertiary institutions provides more insight.
But to actually sustain this place, it's going to go private. non-governmental. So what's the business? What's the plan?
By also engaging with your institutions. Yes, no, I mean, we have some of the best brains in your schools, so that we can, through our collaboration, undertake research and development on how to make better whatever we are doing here.
The key resource person, an expert in the integrated farming technique, speaks on his hopes for Nigeria and Africa in agricultural development.
See our land environment as the biggest capital. If we use our brains to unlock it, we can solve the problem. This is the basis of song, I think. Let's believe in ourselves. Let's see what God has given us. The first capital of Songa, environmental capital. And the first environmental capital is the soil. Let's rehabilitate it because it's our social security.
For the academics, what is the take-home for them against the backdrop of this paradigm shifts in content development and training as advocated during this talk shop?
One of the immediate impact of this program is the fact that there is a platform of opportunity for our students to learn new ways of farming.
Diversification of the nation's economy is something that is quite possible. It is also possible for the benefits of better practices of agriculture to also trickle down to the individual. At the end of the day, it is going to be a win-win situation built for the government of the country as well as the individuals who are going to benefit from wealth and job creation. From the Benue River Basin Authority in Benin City, the Edo State capital, Osaze Obaze, Channels Television News.
You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's shift gears now, shall we, to business news with Kayode Okikiolu.
Thank you, Gimba. The Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee is expected to leave its benchmark interest rates and other parameters unchanged at its upcoming meeting next week. The expectation, which is in line with its earlier forecast in July, comes amid high inflation rate, which climbed to 11.6% in October. And this is coupled with liquidity in the financial system and expected increased capital expenditure by government. At its last meeting in September, the CBN MPC kept the monetary policy rate and other parameters unchanged for the third time in a row after it lowered the lending rates to 13.5% in March this year. The two-day rates decision meeting, which is the final for 2019, is expected to hold on November the 25th and 26th in Abuja. And the stock market wraps up the third trading week of November in the green with a 0.52% in the all-share index. However, total value of listed equities fell by 0.34% to 13.027 trillion naira. Similarly, the five key sectors of the NSE ended with mixed performances, with losses recorded on the banking and industrial goods sub-index, while the consumer goods, industrial and insurance sector closed positive. In contrast to more than 2 billion shares traded last week, overall volume of transaction within the 5 trading sessions were lower at 1.41 billion units in 20,303 transactions, led by the shares of UACN, FBN Holdings and Access Bank. Nemeth is the best performer in price for the week, up by 40%. Lasaco is worst among 23 losers, down by 20.69%, while the 102 equities remained unchanged. More business stories. Capital market regulators are bothered about the implications of the land border closure and its potential retaliatory effects on portfolio investment. Among other issues, executives of the NSE and the Securities and Exchange Commission share the concern, which relates to capital flight, at a session with traders and other operators in the market.
The negative significant correlation between the increasing inflation rate and the market capitalization continues to raise concerns vis-a-vis the recent Nigerian border closure, which has also significantly impacted the cost of goods, services, and ultimately the macroeconomy. The potential retaliatory effects of which could fuel further uncertainty and capital flight, creating devastating effects on the long-run growth of the economy when confronted with macroeconomic uncertainty, if not properly mitigated.
We we need to be more efficient and competitive. We need to further deepen the market and contribute the required long-term capital that Nigeria needs for business investments, infrastructure, and other innovative financing. With the size of our economy, there is the potential for more securities that are representative of the economy to be brought into the capital market. In our journey towards improved competitiveness, we also need to reduce cost of operating in the capital market, comprising financial, operational, and regulatory costs.
Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. The news at 10 continues with Kimba.
Coyote. Still ahead on the news at 10, Jose Mourinho makes a winning return to management as Tottenham Hotspur withstands West Ham fight back at the London Stadium. That's the sports news. Stay with us.